my god! Oh, it's just you. I was admiring the nature. You just snuck up on me. Isn't nature remarkable? Especially plants. You know, plants just appear on the ground. Like, where the hell did you come from? Just came. I think the best plants are the ones with flowers. I call them beautiful, but scientists call them angiosperms. But where do they come from? Has anyone asked that? Has anyone sat down and asked, what are angiosperms? Where do they come from? How did they evolve? Truly, such a minute question. No one would ask it. I mean, who in their right mind would sit there and try to answer, where did angiosperms come from? Am I right? Well, I did. I spent 6 hours trying to figure out where they came from. So, be happy. Flowering plants, or Angiospermae for the sapiosexuals, are any plant that can have flowers and produce seeds. Now, currently today, there are 300,000 known species of angiosperms, and in that umbrella term of flowering plant, there are many different clades and families of angiosperms that can be separated by very small differences, but they're all basically the same thing. This plant has flowers and can produce seeds. But we don't quite know where this clade and this clade connect. All we know is that this one has things, this one doesn't, this one has things, this one doesn't, and they have things that are similar that are different from other ones. So, why does it get so muddy? Well, the thing is, there are not that many fossil records of angiosperms left. However, what we do have of primitive fossils, we can start cross-referencing with modern-day plants to find vestigial and homologous structures that will give us insight into how, when, and why these angiosperms started evolving and adapting to their environment. Paleobotanists currently believe the earliest flowering plant to be the Archaefructus legoningensis, which dates back to the early Cretaceous period. It can't be considered an angiosperm for its structure, as it has opened carpels along the stamen. However, we can use it as a base point to start cross-referencing with modern-day plants to see where it lacked and why angiosperms started evolving. Because, let's be honest, the Archaefructus legoningensis was basically Episode 8 of Star Wars. A complete failure. If we examine the Archaefructus legoningensis, we can see some details that are... There's a plane now. It's going. It's still up there. Is it pink? It's like a flamingo. If we examine the Archaefructus legoningensis, we can see some details that don't align with modern-day angiosperms, the main of which being open versus closed carpels. The Archaefructus was open carpelled, which meant that it was unisexual. Unisexual flowers only had a male organ or a female organ, and could not reproduce asexually. They had to find a mate, and then they could reproduce. Well, that obviously wasn't working, because they would reproduce very slowly, and it would take a while to find a mate. Well, with the rapid insect diversification, it was required for a plant to have very quick cross-pollination, and it just wasn't working out. So plants started evolving to have closed carpels, which meant they were bisexual in nature. Bisexual flowers have both male and female organs, which means they could both reproduce asexually, and they could reproduce with any flower who was also in their vicinity, which meant that reproduction was very, very easy for them, as they could reproduce with anyone. And for the unisexual flowers, they all began dying out because they couldn't find anyone. And if there's any unisexual flowers watching right now, go to a bar, order a dirty martini. You don't need men. You do you. So the unisexual flower began dying off as bisexual flowers were taking over, and they were able to reproduce quickly and much more efficiently than unisexual flowers. But the issue with bisexual flowers still was that it was random whether an insect would come and take your pollen and bring it to someone else. So it was random if an angiosperm species would continue. Well, that involves the next step in the evolutionary change of angiosperms. Before we move on to the second phase of angiosperm evolution, I should notify you that I have moved into my younger brother's room because there was too many sounds outside and the bugs started attacking me. So now we are here. With this newfound issue to fight over one another to reproduce, angiosperms had to get pretty, and they had to get pretty quick. So they started changing in size and having various floral patterns. Now, because of this, bigger, better, beautiful flowers would attract more bees or insects than another flower. And because of this, that flower began taking over that area. Now, with this, all of the beautiful flowers of an area, or the flowers that attracted the native insect of a biome, those angiosperms would start living. A beautiful flower would live, and a younger one, or one that isn't as big or isn't as beautiful, would die off. And that biome has this flower, and this is where the beginning of clades are. Angiosperms now had to start fighting over one another to reproduce. The ones with the beautiful floral patterns would always be chosen, so angiosperms started adapting to their environment. They would be bigger in size, and they would have more eccentric floral patterns. And because of this, natural selection began occurring. Insects primarily went to whichever flower was bigger and more beautiful, like the Arcanthus, which was an angiosperm with a big flower with beautiful floral patterns. Now, because of this, bigger flowers or more beautiful flowers began taking over biomes, which is how clades began to form. These clades began forming because insects were primarily pollinating certain plants, so ones with certain sizes or certain colors began taking over that specific biome. And this is where the clade forms, as these similar looking plants began looking very similar, as they would cross-pollinate with one another, and slowly their offspring would look exactly the same. And this is where our clades form, like the Polygalaceae or the Orchidaceae. So, in short, insects come in and they start pollinating all of these angiosperms. And these angiosperms begin looking alike because in certain biomes, angiosperms of one color will be favored by the insects. And this is where our clades begin forming, is because all of these angiosperms come into this one area and they'll all start looking exactly the same. Make sense? Yeah. It's kind of like communism, but with flowers. Many angiosperms lacked the reproductive efficiency of other angiosperms. So to combat this, they started growing fruits of stony and fleshy varieties to attract more animals and insects so that they could cross-pollinate easier. These fruit-bearing angiosperms started appearing mainly in the Paleocene as opposed to the Cretaceous because the necessity for fast, efficient reproduction had reached a peak. But don't let that fool you. Although it's not as big as closed carpels or their evolution of floral representation, the fruit-bearing angiosperms were very important, as the areas they were in weren't as populated with insects and animals that were available for cross-pollination. So really, they were just trying to up their stakes even further. They were trying to get animals that weren't at first interested, or insects that weren't at first interested in them, to start coming so they could pollinate even faster and reproduce faster. So by now, we've gone over the three major points in angiosperm evolutionary history. 1. Evolution of the closed carpel. 2. Better floral representation. And 3. Stony and fleshy fruits. Now, this was a bit of a rushed history. Of course, there's not as many clades that we talked about, and we didn't talk about specific clades. We just kind of talked about broader subjects. Well, I could tell you more in a research paper, but this is also a YouTube video, and it's 4 o'clock, and I've spent 3 hours recording, and I can't remember all of the information, so this is the best you're going to get. So by now, you should have I'm not going to say good, and I'm not going to say perfect, but I'm going to say a brief understanding of what angiosperms are, because they are so mysterious. We don't understand or know where they came from, and this is all just kind of hypotheses put together from fossil records and structures found inside angiosperms. But I hope more than anything that you now understand the amount of effort I have put into this video, because it's so boring! But you should also understand how much effort I have put into researching this information. So that is the brief history of angiosperm evolution, but now I have to talk about my sources for the grade in this project. So if you're not here for the project, I would recommend just leaving, because I'm just going to be talking about sources now. And I would just leave. So all of the sources I have found for this video are basically reliable. They all have someone who's from a educational background or someone who has a lot of education in the field has written all the sources I have, and I'm probably going to link all the sources in the description of the video, like down here. Look, it's in there. It's there. Check there, but it's okay. See, all the sources are from organizations that are based on giving information to either smaller scientific organizations or students. And if that's not good enough for you, I don't know what is. All of the resources have information that checks out with the other resources. And I think that's kind of like a circle of trust. It's like the reverse pyramid scheme where they're all connected and they all have similar information. So at this point, I just constructed this script, which is not really a script because I made it up on the spot with my hours of research. And listen, at this point in this video, I don't know what I'm doing. I had a script for the rest of this video about like the resources, and this recording, I realized, it's a lot. I spent so many hours on this. I mean, I had a script planned. There were some jokes. It was funny. I thought I was gonna do it outside, and the bugs started attacking me. And now I'm here, and just like, I don't know where I'm doing or where I'm going with this. Like, I thought it was gonna be good. I should have just done a slideshow, I know way too much about plants now. I didn't even know that there was such a thing as bisexual flowers until I did this. You know what? Like, I don't even care if I get the perfect grade. Like, here, you see this right here? Put it in post. I'll put it in post right here. I'll just put my paragraphs. I'll make like a better explanation later. Put it in post. Because right now I'm so tired. It's like the middle of the day. I just want to nap. But like here, take this, all this. This is a paragraph. This is like the research. So if you want to read that, you can. But like, I think the video was entertaining. I think it gave enough information. But if it didn't, I have this too. It's good. Okay, and then here, watch. I'll just snap. Now we got the sources. Here's another paragraph about the sources. I think it's good. I thought what I gave was good enough, but like if it isn't, I got this, and hopefully that brings the grade up. I'm just so sad. You know what? No, get rid of it. You know what? Nope, it's over. It's over. Video done. Video's over. Nope, this is the end. We're gonna put credits right here. It's gonna be my name. We're gonna have like the class. We're gonna have like the time that this goes up, and then we're gonna have like, I don't know, what else? What else do I need to put in this? Here's a random person who helped me and told me I put myself in a pickle for choosing this topic. Thank you for telling me that this was kind of a stupid idea. There, credits. Huzzah. It's over. I'm gonna talk like this for the next like minute. God, why did I do this to myself? I know too much about plants now. Oh God. How long is this going? I don't know how long this is going for. I don't know what I'm going to do in post. I just pressed record and then started ranting, and I don't have a script, and now I'm here. Here, is there videos here? Is there videos here that you want? You want my stuff? Choose my stuff. It's there. It's good. It's there. I don't know how long this is going for. My OneDrive is almost full. My laptop camera kind of sucks, so I'm just doing this. It's a YouTube video, but it's also a biology project. It's both. It's for a grade, but also I made it so I can entertain myself. But now I'm realizing that was kind of stupid, and I should have chosen a presentation like on slideshow or PowerPoint. I'm just sitting here. Is the video over yet?